Today I'm going to give you a list of the top 5 cars I use to beat the World Touring Car 800 here in Sardinia. Now this is a fantasy track and it's not one of my favorites, but it is a great place to start off when you're first getting into grinding after the main cafe menus. This doesn't unlock until after menu 39, so you do need to run your way through the cafe before worrying about your, building up your credits. It takes about 26 minutes to finish the full race at Sardinia, so it is on the endurance side of things, but it's one of the shorter races. And if you get a clean race bonus, you'll end up with $727,500 at the end of the race. And I honestly don't even think you can do anything but get a clean race bonus. You don't lose the bonus for going off the track. You don't lose it for running into other cars. I believe theoretically you could lose it by passing under caution, but I've never seen a caution on this course. It doesn't have weather and it doesn't have a night section of it, so there's no need for headlights either. But let's go ahead and see what our first contender is. Coming in at number 5 is the Nissan Skyline R32 GTR V-Spec 2 from 1994. This is the original R32 that's in the game, and it is not the Nismo car. The Nismo car is better, but the benefit of this car is if you work your way through the game, you will have it because it's a prize car for cafe menu number 18. It's also given to you at a point where they're going to ask you to modify the car. So mine ended up with aerodynamic packages put onto it anyway, so it made it a great car to stick to this course, and fully built out even before the level 50 mods are it does fine in competing with the competition. I do have my game set to easy for the AI just because there's no downside to it other than you can pass people easier. But if you're racing correctly, you're after your best lap time anyway, so you're really only competing with yourself no matter what. This car later in the game will also offer engine swaps, which will make it even quicker. And if you do end up trying to find it, it's available in the used car inventory. So that's where you go to buy it. And it comes in right around $180,000. But like I said, you'll be getting it for free. You will have to build it up, which I think ends up costing around $200-something thousand, like $250, $225, something like that. So you will have to mod it, but it's a great way to start this, and after your first race you're going to end up with $700,000 right at the end, so you can start purchasing some of the next couple of cars on the list. Coming in at number 4 is the Honda NSX GT500 from 2008. Now this is a full race car, so it's a lot quicker than the GTR we just saw, and it's a mid-engine car, so it's actually very well balanced. There is a GT500 Nissan GTR as well as a Lexus, I think it's the RCF, but those are both front-engine cars and they are a lot less forgiving with the potential oversteer. I'll have a shot here coming up where I end up spinning both of them. They can still both win, and all 3 of them put down right around the same lap times with me driving anyway, but the NSX just is able to brake a little bit deeper into the corners because of that mid-engine layout, so that's why it made it to number 4. These are also cars that are required to be purchased for the extra menus, so there's the added benefit of that as well. These cars will all set you back 800,000 credits. That's where I kicked the back end out on the GTR, getting on the throttle a little too aggressively, and doing the same type of thing here with the Lexus. The car ended up snapping in oversteer and I ended up hitting the wall. So that's why I prefer the NSX. In third place, we have the Mercedes CLK LM from 1998. Now unfortunately this car is up to 8.5 million, and this one will be found in legendary motors. The previous cars are all in brand central, so you can pick them up whenever, but this one you have to wait for the rotation, and it will set you back a pretty penny, so you'll want to wait a little bit later before you end up picking this one up. It is a great car to drive. It handles well and really steps out on the speed, and it's a GT2 class vehicle, so it is a higher spec car than everything else out there, which is partially why it competes so well, and you will have to just dial it back with the settings. Coming in at second place is the F1500T-A from Brand Central, and it's found in the Japan listing under Gran Turismo. So I think it's just a generic F1 car, but this car just does great out here. You can get by with just a single pit stop, and it handles great, and especially in VR, it just gives you a really nice open feel. And it's not as wide as Senna's car, the Honda from McLaren, so it fits in a little bit nicer with the rest of the pack, and it doesn't have DRS, so it's not excluded because there's no nitrous or DRS allowed on this course. But this will set you back 1,000,000 credits, but you'll make it up in 2 races, and it's a lot of fun to drive. Before we hit number 1, I wanted to make 2 honorable mentions, one being the Honda/McLaren MP4-4, which was Senna's car, and this is a great place to play with the car. You will have to dial it way back in the settings to get it to qualify, but again, it doesn't have DRS, and without any type of night racing, there's no need for headlights. So a lot of the longer races will end up having the sun go down, and it kind of puts these cars in a worse position if you're not using that driving line. The other car is the Pikes Peak Escudo, and same thing there. It's a Pikes Peak car that was only run during the day, so there are no headlights, and it's a lot of fun to drive. It will need a couple pit stops, but it's an all-wheel drive car that's very powerful with a lot of downforce, and it's just fun to take out for a spin out here. So finally, coming in at number 1, we have the Mazda 787B from 1991. Now this is a 4-rotor race car, and it's pretty unique. It's the only one of its kind, so this car is exceedingly great on fuel, and you can easily run this track with no pit stops at all. But if you keep the fuel map at 1, you may still need to drop it in to, for a splash and go. But it is very powerful, very fast, and you will crush the competition with very little effort. It's also just a great piece of history to have in your garage. This one will set you back $3.3 million in Legendary Motors, and again, that price does fluctuate, so I would pick it up quickly. I actually have 2 copies of it just in case, because I know we've seen there was a Ferrari that jumped from 9 million all the way to 20 in just the last couple of months. So when you see this one out there, go grab it. And some of these other LM cars are pretty solid in terms of choices, but this is just my favorite. And if you check the forums and things like that, it's pretty high up in popularity. So this isn't just my opinion. It's something that it's pretty special. And it'll actually run pretty well at Spa as well, so you can earn your money back from this car very quickly. That wraps up my top 5 picks for the Sardegna 800. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss any future content. I'm grateful for all you guys watching my channel. Thank you, and have a great night.